Cruelly humiliated on a blind date for being too fat. A single dad at the next table witnessed every brutal word. What he did next left the restaurant in stunned silence. What happened after transformed both their lives forever. The soft murmur of conversation blended with silverware against porcelain at Riverside Bistro, one of Portland's most sought-after dining spots. Amber lighting from Edison bulbs cast a warm glow across exposed brick walls, creating an atmosphere that whispered of romance and possibility. Sophia Anderson sat alone at a table for two, hands trembling as she smoothed her emerald dress. At 24, she'd learned to navigate a world that constantly reminded her that her body didn't fit the mold. The dress had taken 3 stores and 2 hours to find, something that made her feel pretty without hiding who she was. Her reflection showed a young woman with hazel eyes, auburn hair falling past her shoulders, and a smile that didn't reach those eyes tonight. Anxiety squeezed tight. Derek's dating profile had appeared 3 weeks ago, chiseled jawline, gym-sculpted arms, bio mentioning fitness lifestyle. His messages seemed charming, asking about her library work, her love of vintage mysteries, her Sunday farmer's market ritual. What he didn't know was the complete truth of what she looked like. She'd used recent photos, yes, but strategic ones. Face shots mostly. One full body from a distant wedding shot. Nothing dishonest exactly, but nothing entirely revealing either. Her phone buzzed. Running 5 min late. Traffic? 5 more minutes under subtle stares. She sipped water, ice rattling against glass in unsteady hands. 15 feet away, Nathan Cooper was negotiating vegetables with his 4-year-old daughter. "But Daddy, they're shaped like dinosaurs," Lily insisted, dark curls bouncing. "Dinosaurs are educational." Nathan fought back a smile. At 24, he looked older, the kind that comes from sleepless nights and single parenthood. "Educational dinosaurs still need vegetables," he countered gently, moving broccoli onto her plate. 3 bites, then dessert. Lily's mother had vanished 6 months after the birth, leaving him to raise their daughter alone. His own mother had raised him alone, full-figured and graceful despite constant judgment. She'd taught him that character mattered more than appearance. Friday dinners out were their tradition. These moments mattered. That's when he noticed the woman in green. She sat with shoulders hunched, hands fidgeting, eyes darting toward the entrance. Nathan recognized that vulnerable posture. The door opened. A man entered, tall, muscular, radiating arrogance. When he spotted Sophia, his smile cooled. Sophia stood as Derek approached, smile bright despite visible nerves. "Derek?" Her voice carried warmth, hope. "Yeah." Derek didn't offer his hand. His eyes scanned her head to toe. "You must be Sophia. It's wonderful to finally meet in person." She gestured to her chair. "I ordered water for us both. Before we sit, can I be honest?" Derek's voice wasn't quiet. Nearby diners glanced over, sensing tension. Sophia froze halfway down, something flickering across her face. Fear, Nathan realized. She already knew what was coming. "Of course," she said softly, forcing her spine straight. "Your photos were misleading." Derek crossed his arms. "Face shots mostly. I assumed you were normal-sized, not—" He gestured vaguely at her body. "This." The restaurant dimmed. Patrons froze mid-conversation. Forks paused. Their staff member slowed, uncertainty written across his face. "I used recent photos," Sophia replied, tremor beneath her words. "Nothing was filtered. Strategic angles, distance shots. You were hiding what you really look like." Derek's tone carried accusation. "I'm a personal trainer. I work with fitness influencers. My entire Instagram is about health and wellness. What would it look like showing up with someone who clearly doesn't take care of herself?" Nathan's hands clenched. Lily stopped eating, confused by the tension. "Daddy, why is that man being mean to the pretty lady?" Her whisper carried in the quiet. Several heads turned. Sophia stood motionless, hands clasped like a scolded child, but her chin lifted slightly, steel beneath humiliation. "I do take care of myself," she said quietly. "I walk every day, I eat balanced meals. I work full-time and volunteer weekends. Taking care of myself doesn't have to mean looking like you. It should mean respecting yourself enough to maintain a healthy body." Derek's condescension was thick. "Someone needs to tell you the truth. Those curves," he made air quotes, "that's just polite talk for overweight." A woman at a nearby table gasped. Her companion whispered urgently, face reddening with second-hand embarrassment. The waiter stopped entirely, looking toward the manager near the kitchen. The manager's expression shifted through uncertainty, calculating whether to intervene. "You know what the worst part is?" Derek continued. "You wasted my time, 40 minutes driving, fighting traffic, parking fees. For what? To meet someone dishonest about basic facts?" Sophia's eyes glistened, but she blinked rapidly, refusing tears. Her hands clenched and unclenched in visible effort at control. "You're right about one thing," she said, voice strengthening. "I should have known someone whose entire identity revolves around physical appearance would never see past mine. That's my mistake. I apologize for wasting your precious time." She reached for her purse, preparing to leave. "At least you're self-aware," Derek said, missing her barb entirely. "First step. I could recommend a gym. Give you starter tips on—" "She doesn't need your tips." Nathan's voice cut through the restaurant like a blade. He hadn't planned to speak, hadn't planned to get involved. But something in him, lessons his mother taught, the father he tried to be, the man he wanted to be, couldn't stay silent. Every eye turned. Sophia's head snapped up, surprise replacing resignation. Derek's face showed irritation. Nathan stood slowly. He wasn't as muscular as Derek, but something in his stance, quiet strength forged through putting others first, commanded attention. "Daddy?" Lily's voice was small, uncertain. "It's okay, sweetheart. Daddy just needs to talk for a minute." He touched her shoulder reassuringly, then walked toward them with measured steps. The restaurant held its breath. Nathan stopped a few feet away. His eyes moved from Derek to Sophia, seeing the shock in her face, then back to Derek. "You're being cruel," Nathan said simply. "And you're doing it publicly, which makes it worse." "This is a private conversation," Derek shot back. "In the middle of a crowded restaurant." Nathan gestured around. "You made it public when you raised your voice. You made it everyone's business when you decided to humiliate her where everyone could hear. I'm being honest. She needs to hear the truth." "The truth?" Nathan's voice stayed calm, but steel edged beneath. "The truth is you're shallow. You measure worth in bicep curls and body fat percentages. You just revealed exactly who you are, someone who values appearance over character, image over substance." Several nearby diners nodded subtly. The woman who'd gasped whispered, "Exactly," to her companion. Derek's face reddened. "Who are you, her boyfriend?" "A complete stranger," Nathan interrupted. "Someone having dinner with my daughter. And even I can see what you apparently can't. This woman deserves basic human decency. Your behavior says everything about your character, and nothing about hers." Sophia stood frozen, eyes wide, moving between Nathan and Derek. "You don't understand," Derek started. "I understand perfectly." Nathan's voice quieted, but carried through the hushed space. "You're the kind of person who judges books by covers, who thinks physical fitness equals moral superiority, who would rather hurt someone publicly than admit maybe you're the one with the problem." The manager finally moved forward. "Gentlemen, perhaps—" "I'm leaving," Derek said abruptly. He looked at Sophia. "Honestly, you dodged a bullet. At least this way we both know where we stand." He turned and strode toward the exit. The door swung shut with finality, releasing the tension like a popped balloon. Sophia remained standing, face mixing humiliation, gratitude, confusion. Restaurant noise slowly returned. Cautious conversations, silverware clinking, careful pretense that nothing extraordinary had happened. Nathan met her eyes and something passed between them. Recognition, perhaps. Not of each other, but of something deeper. Two people who understood being judged unfairly. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. Sophia laughed, half sob, half genuine amusement. "I have no idea how to answer that." Nathan smiled, warmth reaching his tired eyes. "Would you like to sit? Have water? Breathe before deciding what's next?" "Daddy!" Lily called from their table. "Is the pretty lady eating with us? She looks sad. We should share our dinosaurs." Despite everything, the humiliation and hurt, the watching eyes and circulating whispers, Sophia laughed again, this time genuinely. "I think," she said slowly, "that might be exactly what I need right now." Nathan offered his hand, simple human kindness when kindness felt rarest. Sophia took it, fingers closing around his with visible relief. As they walked toward the corner table, where a 4-year-old waited with dinosaur nuggets and an enormous smile, something shifted in the restaurant's atmosphere. Watching eyes softened. Whispers changed tone from scandal to something warmer, more hopeful. The hostess approached them as they reached Nathan's table. "I'm so sorry about that scene. Would you like us to—" "We're fine," Nathan said gently. "Thank you." Sophia slid into the booth beside Lily, who immediately beamed up at her. "Hi, I'm Lily. These are my dinosaurs." She held up a T-Rex-shaped nugget. "This one's Terry. He's friendly, even though he looks scary." Sophia's smile was genuine now, tension beginning to ease from her shoulders. "Nice to meet you, Terry. I'm Sophia." "That's a princess name." Lily's eyes widened with delight. "Are you a princess?" "Not quite," Sophia said with a soft laugh. "Just a regular person who works at a library." "That's even better. Libraries have all the stories." Lily pushed her plate slightly towards Sophia. "You can have some dinosaurs. Daddy says sharing is important." Nathan watched the interaction, something loosening in his chest. His daughter had always possessed an unusual capacity for empathy, for seeing straight to the heart of things. She didn't see Sophia's body. She saw someone who needed kindness. A waiter approached cautiously. "Can I get you anything, miss?" Sophia glanced at the menu, then at Nathan. "I don't want to intrude on your dinner." "You're not intruding," Nathan said firmly. "Please stay." She hesitated, then nodded. "Just, whatever he's having is fine." The waiter nodded and disappeared. Silence settled over them for a moment, comfortable but charged with unspoken things. "I'm sorry you had to witness that," Sophia said quietly, not meeting Nathan's eyes. "It was humiliating enough without an audience." "You have nothing to apologize for." Nathan's voice was gentle but firm. "He's the one who should be ashamed." "Maybe he had a point, though." Sophia's words came out small. "Maybe I was deceptive with my photos." "Stop." Nathan leaned forward slightly. "Don't let him make you question your worth. You used real photos. You were honest about who you are. If he couldn't see past physical appearance, that's his failure, not yours." Lily tugged on Sophia's sleeve. "Why was that mean man saying bad things? You're pretty." He was wrong. Sophia's eyes filled with tears, but she smiled through them. "Thank you, sweetie. That's very kind." "I'm not being kind, I'm being truthful." Lily said it with such matter-of-fact certainty that both adults laughed. The food arrived, and they ate together. Three people who'd been strangers 15 minutes ago now sharing a meal as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Nathan watched Sophia slowly relax, her laughter becoming easier as Lily chattered about preschool and her favorite books and why broccoli was actually okay if you pretended it was little trees. And something shifted in Nathan's chest, something he hadn't felt in a very long time. Not attraction, exactly, not yet, but recognition, interest, the sense that maybe, just maybe, this unexpected moment might be the beginning of something important. "Thank you," Sophia said later, as their plates were cleared. "For standing up for me. You didn't have to." "Yes, I did," Nathan replied simply. "Some things you just have to do." Their eyes met and held. Understanding passed between them, deeper than words, more fundamental than attraction. Sometimes kindness appears in unexpected forms. Sometimes it comes from strangers who recognize pain because they've lived it themselves. Sometimes it starts with a 4-year-old offering to share dinosaur nuggets. And sometimes that's exactly how the most important stories begin. The corner booth felt like sanctuary. Sophia slid into the seat across from Nathan, Lily bouncing beside her. The restaurant's noise had returned to normal, but occasional glances still drifted their way, some curious, others approving. "I'm Lily Rose Cooper," the 4-year-old announced formally, extending her small hand across the table. "And I'm 4 3/4, which is almost 5. Sophia took the offered hand gently, fighting back tears at the innocent sweetness. "It's very nice to meet you, Lily Rose Cooper. I'm Sophia Marie Anderson, and I'm 24, which is almost 25. Lily giggled. "That's really old." "Lily," Nathan said with gentle reproach, though his eyes crinkled with suppressed laughter. "It's okay," Sophia assured him, and for the first time that evening she felt genuinely okay. "She's absolutely right. I am pretty old." "My teacher, Miss Rachel, is old too," Lily continued matter-of-factly, arranging her dinosaur nuggets in what appeared to be a specific pattern. "She has wrinkles when she smiles." "Do you have wrinkles?" "Not yet, thankfully." Sophia smiled, watching the child's serious concentration. "What are you making there?" "A dinosaur family. This is the mama, this is the daddy, and these 3 are the babies." Lily looked up, her dark eyes suddenly concerned. "Do you have a family?" The question landed with unexpected weight. Sophia's smile faltered slightly. I have my parents. They live in Seattle. And I have a brother who's studying engineering in California. No babies, Lily pressed innocently. No babies? No husband? Lily, that's enough questions, Nathan intervened softly. Remember what we talked about? Sometimes grown-ups need space. But Sophia shook her head. It's fine, really. She met Lily's curious gaze. No husband either. It's just me. That's sad, Lily declared with the blunt honesty only children possess. Everyone needs somebody. That's what Daddy always says. Nathan's expression shifted, surprise mixed with something that looked like pride. I do say that, don't I? You say it when you're tucking me in, Lily explained to Sophia. He says even though it's just us two, we're not alone because we have each other. And that's better than having lots of people who don't really love you. Sophia felt her throat tighten. The simple wisdom in those words, filtered through a child's understanding, hit somewhere deep. The waiter appeared, breaking the moment. Can I get you anything, miss? Sophia glanced at the menu, then at Nathan's plate, some kind of pasta with vegetables. I'll have the same thing he's having, please. And maybe some more dinosaur nuggets for the table, Nathan added. I think we're going to need reinforcements. As the waiter departed, an awkward silence settled. Sophia realized she was sitting at a stranger's table, sharing a meal with a man and child she'd met mere minutes ago under the worst possible circumstances. The absurdity of it threatened to overwhelm her. I should probably explain something, Nathan said quietly, as if reading her thoughts. I wasn't trying to be some white knight back there. I wasn't looking for gratitude or... I know. Sophia's voice was equally soft. I saw your face when he started. You looked angry, but not the performative kind, the real kind. Nathan nodded slowly. My mother raised me alone. My father left when I was 3, couldn't handle the responsibility, I guess. And my mum she was a larger woman, full-figured, and the world never let her forget it. He paused, fingers tracing patterns on the tablecloth. She faced what you faced tonight countless times. At restaurants, at the grocery store, at my school events, people assumed things about her character based solely on her body. That she was lazy, that she lacked discipline, that she didn't care about herself. His jaw tightened. None of it was true. She worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. She walked 3 miles each way to work because we couldn't afford a car. She cooked healthy meals from scratch because processed food was expensive. But none of that mattered to people who'd already decided who she was based on how she looked. Sophia listened, transfixed. This wasn't rehearsed sympathy. This was lived experience, painful memory resurfacing. She died 2 years ago, Nathan continued, voice rougher now. Heart attack. She was only 48. And I spent those final days in the hospital listening to doctors make assumptions about her health, her choices, her life, without knowing anything about who she actually was. I'm so sorry, Sophia whispered. Don't be sorry, just understand why I couldn't stay quiet tonight. I've watched good people be torn down for not fitting into society's narrow definitions, and I'm tired of it, so tired of it. Lily, sensing the heavy mood, climbed partially onto her father's lap. Daddy misses Grandma Sharon. I do, sweetheart. Every day. The food arrived, providing a natural break in the intensity. Sophia picked up her fork, then set it down again. Can I tell you something? She asked. Nathan nodded. Tonight wasn't the first time. It's not even the 10th. Sophia's voice was steady, but her hands trembled. I've been told I'd be pretty if I lost weight. I've been given unsolicited diet advice by strangers. I've been passed over for dates, jobs, opportunities because people see only my size. She took a shaky breath. And the worst part? I started believing them. I started thinking maybe they were right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe if I just tried harder, wanted it more, was more disciplined. Her voice cracked. Maybe then I'd be worthy of basic human decency. You are worthy, Nathan said with quiet intensity. Exactly as you are, right now, no conditions. Their eyes met across the table, and something passed between them. Recognition deeper than attraction, more fundamental than chemistry. 2 people who'd been hurt by the same cruel world, finding unexpected solidarity. You're both pretty, Lily announced, breaking the moment with childlike pragmatism. And you should eat because the food is getting cold and cold pasta is yucky. They laughed, real laughter that released some of the tension. And then they ate, conversation flowing more naturally now. Sophia learned that Nathan had been working as a freelance graphic designer since Lily's mother left. taking whatever projects he could find while managing single parenthood. That he'd dropped out of art school when the pregnancy happened, dreams of becoming a gallery artist, replaced by the immediate need for income and health insurance. Nathan learned that Sophia had wanted to be a writer once, that she had notebooks full of half-finished novels and poetry she'd never shown anyone. That working at the library was simultaneously perfect and painful, surrounded by published dreams, while her own gathered dust. "Why don't you write anymore?" he asked. Sophia shrugged, pushing pasta around her plate. "When would I? Between work and just existing. There's no time. And honestly, I think I lost confidence. It's hard to create art when the world keeps telling you you're not enough." "But you are enough," Lily interjected seriously. A broccoli floret speared on her fork. "You're so enough that you're extra." Both adults stared at the 4-year-old. "Where did you learn that?" Nathan asked, amazed. "Miss Rachel says it. She says everyone is exactly enough and some people are extra, which means they're especially special." Lily beamed. "And Sophia is extra because she's nice and pretty, and she didn't get mad when that mean man was mean." Sophia felt tears threatening again. "Thank you, Lily. That might be the nicest thing anyone said to me in years." As the meal wound down, Sophia found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't in months, maybe years. There was no pressure here, no expectation to be anything other than herself. Nathan didn't look at her with judgment or pity, just genuine interest in who she was as a person. "I should probably get going," Sophia said eventually, though she didn't want to. "You two probably have bedtime routines and—" "Do you have to go?" Lily's disappointment was immediate and vocal. "Can't you come read me a bedtime story? Daddy always does the voices wrong for the princess characters." "I do not," Nathan protested with mock offense. "You do. You make them sound like pirates." Lily turned pleading eyes to Sophia. "Please, just one story." Sophia looked at Nathan, uncertain. "I don't want to intrude." "You're not intruding," he said quickly. "But also no pressure. I know this has been an overwhelming evening." It had been overwhelming, devastating, and then unexpectedly wonderful. But Sophia found herself not wanting it to end. "One story," she agreed, and was rewarded with Lily's delighted squeal. Nathan paid the bill despite Sophia's protests. As they prepared to leave, the restaurant manager approached. "I wanted to apologize for the earlier incident," he said uncomfortably. "We should have intervened sooner. Your meals tonight are on the house." "That's not necessary," Nathan started, but the manager shook his head. "It is. What happened wasn't acceptable. That young woman," he nodded respectfully to Sophia, "deserved better. You all did." Outside, the evening air was cool and crisp. Nathan had parked several blocks away and they walked together, Lily between them holding both their hands. "This is weird, right?" Sophia said with a nervous laugh. "Going home with a stranger to read bedtime stories? Completely weird," Nathan agreed. "But also nice." "Also nice," she confirmed. Nathan's apartment was modest, a 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor, but it was clearly a home. Children's artwork covered the refrigerator. Books overflowed shelves. "It's not much," Nathan said, suddenly self-conscious. "It's perfect," Sophia replied honestly. It was lived in, loved in, real. Lily's bedroom was the explosion of color. Purple walls, star-shaped lights, stuffed animals arranged with obvious care. The 4-year-old changed into pajamas decorated with unicorns, while Sophia browsed the bookshelf. "This one," Lily decided, pulling out a worn copy of a fairy tale collection, the one about the princess who saves herself. They settled on the small bed. Lily in the middle, Sophia on one side, Nathan on the other, and Sophia read, doing different voices for each character, making Lily giggle with dramatic flourishes. When the story ended, Lily yawned widely. "Will you come back?" she asked Sophia sleepily. "I'd like that," Sophia answered, surprised by how much she meant it. "Promise?" "Promise." Nathan tucked his daughter in with practiced ease, kissing her forehead. "Sleep well, sweetheart. I love you, Daddy. I love you, Sophia." The casual inclusion made Sophia's heart clench. "I love you too, Lily." Back in the living room, Nathan offered coffee. They sat on the couch, careful to maintain respectful distance but aware of each other in a way that felt both comfortable and charged. "Thank you," Sophia said finally. "For tonight, for intervening, for dinner, for seeing me." "Thank you for staying," Nathan replied, "for giving us a chance. Where would I run to?" Back to my empty apartment and my half-written novels. Are they really half-written? Or are you just scared to finish them? The question landed with precision. Sophia considered lying, deflecting. But this man had seen her at her lowest tonight. What was one more truth? Scared, she admitted, terrified, because finishing them means submitting them, and submitting means facing rejection, and I've had enough rejection to last several lifetimes. What if you didn't face rejection? What if someone saw the beauty in what you created? Then I'd be grateful, Sophia said quietly, and shocked. And maybe I'd start believing I was worth something after all. Nathan shifted closer, not touching but present. You're worth everything, Sophia. You just need to believe it yourself. They talked until late, about dreams deferred, about single parenthood, about art and beauty and the cruelty of casual judgment. And somewhere in those hours, something fundamental shifted. When Sophia finally left, Nathan walked her to her car. Under the streetlight, they exchanged numbers with slightly shaking hands. I meant what I said, Nathan told her, about you being enough, about being worthy. I need you to know that wasn't just nice words. I meant it. I'm trying to believe it, Sophia confessed. Try harder, he said gently, because it's true. She drove home in a daze, the evening replaying in her mind. The humiliation felt distant now, overshadowed by unexpected connection, by a little girl's innocent wisdom, by a man who saw her, really saw her, and didn't look away. For the first time in years, Sophia felt a flicker of something she'd almost forgotten. Hope. 3 weeks passed like a dream Sophia kept expecting to wake from. Nathan texted the morning after their dinner, just a simple "hope you slept well" with a photo of Lily holding a drawing she'd made. A crayon sketch of 3 stick figures labeled Daddy, Lily, and Sophia in wobbly letters. Sophia had stared at that image for 10 minutes, something warm and terrifying expanding in her chest. They'd met for coffee that weekend at a small place near the library. Lily came with a backpack full of coloring books, settling happily at their table while the adults talked. Really talked. The kind of conversation that ranged from childhood memories to fears about the future, from favorite books to dreams they'd stopped admitting they had. I want to illustrate children's books, Nathan confessed, his coffee growing cold as he sketched absently on a napkin. Not just design corporate logos and restaurant menus, real art, stories that matter. Then why don't you? Sophia asked. He gestured to Lily, who was completely absorbed in coloring a dragon purple. Because dreams don't pay for daycare. They don't cover health insurance or put food on the table. What if you could do both? How? There are only so many hours in a day, and most of them belong to being a dad. Sophia considered this, watching the easy affection between father and daughter. What if you started small? One illustration, one submission to one publisher, just to see. Nathan's hand stilled on the napkin. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I work at a library, Sophia reminded him gently. I know where everything begins. With research, with trying, with believing you're worth the effort. He looked at her then, really looked, and she saw something shift in his expression. You're talking about more than just me, aren't you? She was. Her half-finished novels sat in a drawer at home, gathering dust and judgment. 40,000 words of a mystery she'd started years ago. 20,000 of a romance she'd abandoned when her ex-boyfriend called it unrealistic. Fragments of poetry written in margins during slow days at work. Maybe I am, she admitted. Then we make a deal, Nathan proposed. I'll submit 1 illustration if you finish 1 novel. That's not fair. An illustration takes hours. A novel takes months. Fine, you finish 1 chapter, a real chapter edited and polished. Something you'd be willing to show someone. Sophia's immediate instinct was to refuse. To list all the reasons why it wouldn't work. Why she wasn't good enough, why trying would only lead to disappointment. But then Lily looked up from her coloring. Are you two making promises? You have to pinky swear if you're making promises. That's the rule. And somehow, caught in the earnest gaze of a 4-year-old, Sophia found herself extending her pinky finger across the table. Nathan hooked his pinky around hers, and they shook solemnly while Lily supervised to ensure proper promise-making protocol. Now you have to do it, Lily declared. Pinky promises are forever. That night, Sophia sat at her laptop and stared at the document she'd last touched 8 months ago. The cursor blinked accusingly. She read the last paragraph she'd written, something about a detective finding a clue in an abandoned warehouse, and almost closed the computer. Her phone buzzed. Nathan. How's it going? She texted back. Terrifying. That means you're doing something important, or something stupid. Sometimes those are the same thing, Sophia smiled despite herself. Then she placed her fingers on the keyboard and started typing. The words came slowly at first, rusty from disuse, but gradually, like a muscle remembering its purpose, the story began to flow. An hour passed, then 2. When she finally stopped, she'd added 3,000 words, rough and imperfect, but real. Progress. The following week brought more texts, more coffee dates, more comfortable silences punctuated by Lily's running commentary on everything from cloud shapes to the injustice of having to eat vegetables. Nathan shared his illustration work, sketches of fantastical creatures and ordinary moments rendered beautiful. Sophia saw the talent immediately, raw and undeveloped, but present. "You're really good," she said, studying a drawing of a child riding a dragon through city streets. "I'm okay," Nathan deflected. "No, you're good. You just don't believe it yet." He looked at her with that searching expression she was coming to recognize. "Is that what I sound like when I tell you you're a good writer?" "Probably. We're both terrible at accepting compliments. Comes with the territory of being told you're not enough," Sophia said quietly. Nathan reached across the table, his hand covering hers. The touch was brief but deliberate. "We're going to get better at it, both of us." But getting better proved harder than Sophia expected. The anxiety crept in gradually, small whispers that grew louder each time she saw Nathan, each time his hand brushed hers, each time he looked at her with warmth that felt too good to be true. "He's going to realize," the voice insisted. "He's going to see what everyone else sees, that you're too much, too big, too damaged, too—" She tried to silence it, tried to focus on the present moment. Nathan's laugh, Lily's stories, the way they made her feel seen and valued. But the voice persisted, especially late at night when she was alone with her thoughts. They'd been spending time together for nearly a month when Nathan suggested a proper date. Just the two of them, without Lily as buffer. "There's a gallery opening downtown," he said, trying for casual, but Sophia could hear the nervousness. "Nothing fancy. Local artists. I thought maybe—" "I'd love to," Sophia answered before fear could stop her. But as the date approached, the anxiety intensified. She tried on 7 different outfits, each one feeling wrong, too tight, too revealing, too obviously trying to hide what couldn't be hidden. She stood in front of her mirror, fighting tears, wondering why she'd agreed to this. Her phone rang. Nathan's name appeared on the screen. "Hey," she answered, trying to sound normal. "You're panicking, aren't you?" His voice was gentle, knowing. "How did you—" "Because I'm panicking too. I've changed shirts 4 times. Lily asked if I was okay, and I told her I was just excited. But honestly, I'm terrified." Sophia sank onto her bed. "Why are you terrified?" "Because I really like you," Nathan said simply. "And I haven't really liked anyone since Lily's mom left. And the idea of messing this up, of you realizing I'm just a struggling single dad with more baggage than prospects, that's not what I see," Sophia interrupted. "Then what do you see?" She closed her eyes, picturing him. "I see someone kind, someone who stood up for a stranger, someone who's building a life with creativity and love, despite circumstances that would have broken other people. Someone who makes his daughter laugh and believes in second chances and sees past surfaces to who people really are." The silence on the other end stretched. "That's what I see when I look at you too," Nathan finally said, voice rough. "Not your body, not your size. I see someone brave enough to walk into a restaurant alone, someone who takes a humiliating moment and turns it into connection, someone who writes stories and dreams big and makes pinky promises with 4-year-olds. I see Sophia, just Sophia, and she's wonderful." Tears rolled down Sophia's cheeks. "I'm scared, Nathan." "Me too. What if this doesn't work? What if I'm not ready? What if—" "What if it does work?" he countered gently. "What if you are ready? What if we stop asking, 'What if?' and just try?" Sophia looked at her reflection, really looked, not with judgment, but with the eyes Nathan seemed to see her through. She saw a woman who'd survived cruelty, who'd found courage, who was worthy of being seen and valued and loved. "Maybe." "Okay," she whispered. "Let's try." The gallery was intimate, walls covered with paintings and photographs from emerging artists. Nathan met her outside, looking nervous and handsome, in a button-down shirt she'd never seen him wear. "Hi," he said, as if they hadn't spent hours on the phone the night before. "Hi." They stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then both laughed at the absurdity of it. "We're ridiculous," Sophia said. "Completely." Nathan offered his arm. "Shall we be ridiculous together?" Inside, they wandered through the exhibits, discussing pieces, sharing reactions. Sophia found herself relaxing, the anxiety fading as conversation flowed naturally. They'd always been able to talk. That hadn't changed. What had changed was the awareness between them, the electric consciousness of proximity. The way Nathan's hand found the small of her back when guiding her through a crowded section. The way Sophia leaned into that touch without thinking. They stopped in front of a large canvas, abstract shapes in blues and greys that somehow conveyed profound loneliness. "That's how I felt before," Nathan said quietly. "After Lily's mom left. After my mom died. Like I was just shapes and colors that didn't quite connect into anything whole. And now," he turned to face her fully, "now I feel like maybe I'm starting to connect again, like the shapes are beginning to make sense. Because of Lily, because of both of you." The confession hung between them, weighted with meaning. Sophia's heart hammered. This was the moment to step forward or step back, to trust or retreat into familiar safety. "I'm not fixed," she said. "I still struggle. I still have days where I look in the mirror and hate what I see, where I believe every cruel thing people have said about me. I know, and I'm still scared of being hurt, scared of hurting you or Lily, scared that I'm not enough." "I know that too." "Then why?" The question broke on a sob she hadn't meant to release. "Why do you keep choosing me?" Nathan stepped closer, his hands coming up to frame her face with infinite gentleness. "Because you keep choosing yourself. Because even terrified, you show up. Even hurting, you're kind. Even doubting, you try. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen." Around them, other gallery visitors moved past, but Sophia barely noticed. Her world had narrowed to this moment, this man, this terrifying possibility of being truly seen and choosing to stay visible anyway. "I want to try," she whispered. "I want to believe this is real." "It is real," Nathan assured her. "Maybe messy and complicated and scary, but real. What if I mess it up? Then we'll figure it out together. That's what people do when they care about each other." Sophia searched his face, looking for signs of doubt or ulterior motive, but she saw only sincerity, only patience, only genuine affection that asked nothing more than the chance to grow. "Okay," she said finally. "Together." Nathan smiled, that transformative smile that made him look younger and more hopeful. "Together." He kissed her then, gentle and brief, a question more than a claim. Sophia kissed him back, answer clear. When they pulled apart, she felt different, not fixed, not healed, not suddenly confident, but something had shifted. A small opening in the armor she'd built, letting light in. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. It was barely a beginning, but it was real, messy and uncertain and absolutely terrifying. And for the first time in longer than she could remember, Sophia thought maybe that was enough. Maybe she was enough. The thought felt fragile, likely to shatter under examination, but she held it carefully as they continued through the gallery, Nathan's hand warm in hers. One step, one moment, one choice to believe in possibility. It would have to be enough for now. The invitation arrived Thursday via text. "Nathan, my friend Jake is having a birthday barbecue this weekend, bringing Lily. Want to come? No pressure." Sophia stared at her phone, anxiety tightening her chest. Meeting Nathan's friends, being evaluated, being the fat girlfriend no one expected. How many people? Maybe 15. Jake's backyard, casual. Will people know about us? Jake knows I'm seeing someone, that I'm really happy. But it wasn't all that mattered. Sophia knew how these things went. The curious glances, the whispered questions. That's who he's dating. The silent judgments masquerading as concern. Does he really think it's going to work? Her phone rang. Nathan's name. "You're spiraling," he said. "Yes," Sophia admitted. "Talk to me. Your friends will wonder what you're doing with me. They'll think you could do better. They'll see someone I care about," Nathan said gently. "Someone who makes me laugh, someone Lily adores. That's not what they'll see first." "Some won't," Nathan agreed. "Some might judge. That's on them, not you. Easy to say when you're not the one being judged. You're right, but I've watched it happen to my mother. The judgment says everything about the person doing it, nothing about the person receiving it. I don't know if I'm strong enough." "Then don't come. But I think you're stronger than you believe, And I'd really like my favorite people to meet each other. After they hung up, Sophia sat with the decision. Safety was stagnation. She'd been playing it safe her entire life. She texted back, "I'll come. But if it gets too much, I might need to leave. Deal. Thank you for trying." Saturday arrived with perfect weather, sunny and breezy. Sophia changed outfits 4 times before settling on jeans and a flowy top that felt both comfortable and presentable. Nathan picked her up with Lily bouncing in the back seat, chattering excitedly about Uncle Jake's pool and whether there would be chocolate cake. "How you look beautiful," Nathan said, and Sophia tried to believe him. Jake's house was suburban perfection, minivans, basketball hoops, families that looked like they'd walked out of commercials. Several cars already lined the driveway. Sophia's hands started shaking. Nathan noticed. "We can leave right now." "Daddy, why would we leave?" Lily piped up. Lily leaned forward, patting Sophia's shoulder. "Do you have butterflies?" "Daddy says butterflies mean you're about to do something brave." Sophia smiled. "Your daddy's very smart." "I know," Lily said matter-of-factly. "He's the smartest daddy ever." They walked around to the backyard together, Nathan carrying a cooler, Lily gripping Sophia's hand with surprising strength. The scene was exactly what Sophia expected. People clustered in small groups, children running through sprinklers, the smell of burgers on a grill. And then the noticing began. Conversations didn't stop exactly, but they paused. Eyes found her, assessed, moved to Nathan, back to her. Sophia felt every glance like a physical touch. Nathan, a tall man with sun-bleached hair, approached, arms spread wide. "Finally, we thought you'd gotten lost." His gaze shifted to Sophia, curiosity clear but not unkind. "And you must be Sophia, I'm Jake." He offered his hand naturally, no hesitation or awkwardness. Sophia shook it, grateful for the normalcy. "Sophia's my friend," Lily announced proudly. "She reads the best bedtime stories and knows all the princess voices." "High praise," Jake said with a grin. "Come on, let me introduce you around. Fair warning, my friends are loud and nosy, but mostly harmless." The next hour was a blur of names and faces. Some people were genuinely welcoming, asking about her work at the library, laughing at her stories about difficult patrons. Others were more reserved, their friendliness surface level, their eyes saying what their mouths didn't. Sophia caught fragments of whispered conversations when she passed by certain groups. Not all of it cruel, but not all of it kind either. Didn't realize Nathan was dating again. Seems nice, but good for him, I guess. Each whisper was a small cut, death by 1,000 paper slices. She was refilling her water when she heard it more clearly. 2 women by the dessert table, voices low but not low enough. "I'm just surprised, that's all," one said. "Nathan could have anyone. And after everything with Lily's mom." "Maybe he's not looking for model material this time," the other replied. "Maybe he wants someone stable, maternal." "Well, she certainly looks maternal," the first woman said with a laugh that wasn't quite cruel, but wasn't quite kind either. Sophia's hand trembled, water splashing over the rim of her cup. She set it down carefully, mechanically, trying to keep her face neutral, trying not to let them see how deeply their casual cruelty landed. She turned to find an escape route and nearly collided with Nathan. His expression told her he'd heard. Fury blazed in his eyes, the same protective anger she'd seen at the restaurant, but more personal now, more raw. "Don't," Sophia whispered. "Please, it's not worth it." "Like hell it's not." "Nathan." She grabbed his arm, holding him back. "If you say something, it makes it a thing. It confirms I'm someone who needs defending, someone who can't handle it herself." "You shouldn't have to handle it at all." "But I do, that's reality." She took a shaky breath. "And right now I need to handle it by walking away. Not running, just taking a moment." She moved toward the quieter side of the yard before he could respond, past the garden beds and toward a small bench partially hidden by rose bushes. She sank onto it, hands covering her face, willing herself not to cry. "They're wrong, you know." Sophia looked up to find Maya, one of Jake's neighbors, settling onto the bench. "I heard what they said, and they're wrong. Wrong and small-minded." Maya's voice was matter-of-fact. 30 years ago I was you, different circumstances, same judgment. And you know what I learned?" Sophia waited. "The people who matter don't mind. The people who mind don't matter." Maya smiled. "My husband over there has loved me through every size, every stage, because he sees me, just like Nathan sees you." "How do you know?" "Because of how he looks at you, and how his daughter attaches to you like a barnacle. Kids always know who's safe, who's real. Sophia's throat felt tight. It's hard to believe I matter when the world says I'm wrong. The world is often wrong, Maya stood. Give yourself credit for showing up. That alone takes courage. When you're ready, come back. More of us see you than you realize. She walked away, leaving Sophia with a lot to process. After a few minutes of breathing and centering, Sophia returned to find Lily had created an elaborate obstacle course and was recruiting adults to participate. Nathan was being dragged toward a series of hula hoops by his daughter's insistent hands. Sophia, Lily spotted her immediately. You have to do the course too, it's mandatory. Is it now? Sophia couldn't help but smile. Very mandatory. Daddy already went and he was really bad at it. I was not bad, Nathan protested. I was strategically slow. Several people were watching, including the two women from earlier. Sophia felt the weight of their attention, the unspoken judgment. She could decline. She could claim tiredness or dehydration or any number of socially acceptable excuses. Instead, she looked at Lily's hopeful face, at Nathan's encouraging smile, at Maya giving her a discreet thumbs up from across the yard. Show me this course, Sophia said. It was ridiculous, hopping through hula hoops, crawling under a makeshift limbo bar, spinning in circles before running to tag a tree. Lily had designed it with 4-year-old logic that made little sense but demanded full commitment. Sophia threw herself into it completely. She hopped and crawled and spun, laughing at her own clumsiness, not caring who was watching or judging. And somewhere in the middle of that silly game, something shifted. She wasn't performing worthiness. She wasn't proving she deserved to be there. She was just being. Playing with a child she'd grown to love. Sharing joy with a man who saw her. Living a moment fully instead of watching from the sidelines of her own life. When she finished, breathless and grinning, a small crowd had gathered. Some were smiling genuinely. Others looked uncomfortable, as if her visible joy challenged their quiet prejudices. That was awesome! Lily threw herself at Sophia's legs. You're the best at the course. I don't know about best, but definitely the most enthusiastic. Nathan approached, handing her a water bottle. You okay? Yeah. And surprisingly, she meant it. I'm actually okay. Those women don't matter, Sophia said firmly. Not everyone here is like them. And the ones who are. That's their issue, not mine. Pride flashed across Nathan's face. Look at you being all strong and self-aware. I'm trying. Still terrified, but trying. That's all any of us can do. The rest of the afternoon passed more easily. Sophia found herself in genuine conversation with several people, comparing favorite books with a high school English teacher, discussing library programming with a mother looking for activities for her kids. Not everyone welcomed her, but enough people did that the balance felt less precarious. As evening approached and guests began to leave, Jake pulled Nathan aside. Sophia saw them talking, saw Jake clap Nathan on the shoulder with obvious approval. Whatever was said made Nathan smile in a way that suggested relief. During the drive home, Lily fell asleep in minutes, her small face peaceful in the dim light. Jake really likes you, Nathan said quietly. He told me he's never seen me this happy, that whatever I'm doing, keep doing it. What did you tell him? That I'm not doing anything special, just being with someone who makes everything better. Sophia's eyes filled with unexpected tears. Today was hard, I know, but also good. Scary and uncomfortable and occasionally painful, but good. She looked at him. I'm glad I came. Me too. Nathan reached across the console, finding her hand. Thank you for being brave, for trying, for not letting those women steal your joy. I almost let them, if Maya hadn't talked to me, but she did, and you chose to come back, to play with Lily and laugh and just be yourself. He squeezed her hand. That's the strongest thing I've ever seen. They pulled up to Sophia's apartment. Nathan walked her to the door, Lily sleeping against his shoulder. I should let you get her to bed, Sophia said. Yeah, but neither moved. Nathan, Thank you for seeing me, all of me, even the scared parts. He shifted Lily carefully, then used his free hand to cup Sophia's face. Thank you for letting me see, for trusting me with something so precious. He kissed her softly, sweetly, a promise of more to come. Then stepped back before the moment could deepen. I'll text you tomorrow. I'd like that. Sophia watched them drive away, then climbed the stairs to her apartment. Inside, she caught her reflection in the mirror. Same body everyone else saw, same curves society deemed wrong, but different eyes looking back. Eyes that had seen both cruelty and kindness today, that had witnessed judgment and acceptance, that had chosen joy despite fear. Maybe that was growth, not feeling confident all the time, not being immune to hurt, but choosing to show up anyway, choosing to play silly games with 4-year-olds and hold hands with good men, and believe, even tentatively, that she deserved good things. It was a start. A fragile, uncertain, beautiful start. 3 months later, Sophia stood in front of her laptop, cursor blinking at the end of a sentence that read, "The End." Her first completed novel in 5 years. 90,000 words of mystery, character, and hope. Imperfect, certainly. In need of editing, absolutely. But finished. Actually, genuinely finished. Her hands trembled as she saved the document one more time, as if the computer might somehow lose those months of late-night writing, of pushing through doubt, of believing, however tentatively, that her words mattered. Her phone buzzed. "Nathan, how's it going?" She stared at the message, overwhelmed. She'd finished something she'd thought impossible. She was dating a man who saw her as worthy. She had a 4-year-old who called her My Sophia. "I finished it," she typed back. "The novel, it's done." The phone rang immediately. "You finished?" Nathan's voice filled with excitement that made tears spring to her eyes. "I finished." "Sophia, that's incredible. How do you feel?" "Terrified, proud, like I might throw up." Nathan laughed. "That sounds about right. We need to celebrate, properly. Let me take you to dinner. Somewhere nice, just us." "What about Lily?" "My neighbor already agreed to watch her. I had a feeling you were close." Pride colored his voice. "Say yes." "Yes," Sophia agreed, because saying yes was getting easier. The restaurant Nathan chose was elegant without being pretentious. White tablecloths, soft lighting, the kind of place that whispered special occasion. Sophia wore the deep purple dress she'd bought specifically for this moment, whenever it came. She'd tried it on 3 times in the store, each time finding new reasons to put it back. Too fitted, too bold, too much. But she'd bought it anyway. A small act of defiance against the voice that said she didn't deserve beautiful things. Nathan was waiting when she arrived, and the way his face lit up when he saw her made something warm bloom in her chest. "You look stunning," he said, rising to pull out her chair. "You look pretty good yourself." They ordered wine and talked about her novel, his illustration portfolio that was finally coming together, Lily's upcoming kindergarten registration that made Nathan simultaneously proud and panicky. "I can't believe she's almost 5, he said, shaking his head. "You've done an amazing job with her." "We've done an amazing job," Nathan corrected gently. "She loves you, Sophia. Talks about you constantly. Yesterday she told her teacher she wants to be like you because you write stories and are brave." Sophia's throat tightened. "I'm not that brave. You're the bravest person I know." Nathan reached across the table, taking her hand. "You finished a novel while working full-time and dealing with a world that constantly tries to make you feel small. You show up to social events even when you know people might judge. You let yourself be vulnerable with me and Lily even though you've been hurt before. That's not just brave, that's extraordinary." "Nathan, let me finish." His thumb traced circles on her palm. "These past few months with you have been the happiest I've been in years. You've reminded me that life can be more than just surviving, that dreams matter, that connection matters, that love." He paused, his eyes searching hers. "That love is possible, even when you've stopped believing in it." The word hung between them. Love. They hadn't said it before, dancing around the feeling without naming it, but there it was, spoken and real. "I love you too," Sophia whispered. "I'm still figuring out how to believe I deserve it, but I love you. You deserve everything," Nathan said with such conviction that Sophia almost believed him. "And I'm going to spend as long as you'll let me proving that to you." When dessert arrived, Nathan pulled out his phone. "I want to show you something. Remember submitting one illustration?" "I did. 2 months ago." Sophia's eyes widened. "You did? They want to see more. They're interested in commissioning work for a book series." "Nathan, that's incredible. I wanted to wait until we were celebrating your achievement. We're in this together, pushing each other to be brave." As they left, Nathan pulled her close. "There's one more thing, a public thing." He looked nervous. "Trust me?" Sophia thought about the woman she'd been 3 months ago, terrified, convinced she was unworthy. "I trust you." They drove to the art district. Nathan parked near a gallery featuring local emerging artists. "Nathan, what are we doing?" He led her inside. The space was crowded. people with wine glasses studying art, discussing merit. Then Sophia saw it. On the far wall was a series of Nathan's illustrations, and beside them, beautifully framed, was her writing, an excerpt from her novel. "What is this?" "It's called The Courage to Begin." Nathan's voice was soft. "The gallery owner lets emerging artists showcase collaborative work. I asked if we could do something together. Your words, my images." Sophia stepped closer, seeing her sentences in elegant font, Nathan's illustrations bringing her characters to life. "I should have asked permission," Nathan said quickly. "If you're uncomfortable, how long has this been here?" "Since yesterday. And people have been reading my words?" "Yes, and they love it." As if on cue, a woman approached, middle-aged, with kind eyes and reading glasses perched on her head. "Excuse me, are you the writer? I've been standing here reading this for 20 minutes. It's absolutely captivating. Do you have more work available?" Sophia's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Yes, I just finished a novel. I'd love to read it. Here's my card. I run a small independent bookstore. We're always looking for local talent." The woman pressed a business card into Sophia's hand. "Please reach out when you're ready. This is exactly the kind of storytelling we need more of." She walked away, leaving Sophia stunned. "That's the fourth person who's asked about your work," Nathan said, including someone who said they're a literary agent looking for new clients in the mystery genre. "You're lying." "I'm not. They left their card with the gallery owner." He cupped her face gently. "Your words matter, Sophia. Your voice matters. You matter. And it's time you started believing that." Tears spilled over despite Sophia's best efforts. "I'm scared. I know. What if I try and fail? What if I put myself out there and get rejected?" "Then you'll have tried. You'll have been brave. You'll have proven to yourself that you're strong enough to face rejection and keep going." Nathan brushed away her tears with his thumbs. "But what if you try and succeed? What if your book gets published? What if you inspire other people who feel invisible and voiceless? What if you become the writer you always dreamed of being?" "That seems impossible. 3 months ago, you thought finishing your novel was impossible. You thought being in a relationship was impossible. You thought being happy in your own skin was impossible." His smile was tender. "You're pretty good at doing impossible things." Sophia looked around the gallery, at strangers reading her words, at Nathan's beautiful illustrations, at evidence of creative collaboration and shared dreams. She thought about the woman she'd been at that disastrous blind date, ready to shrink and hide and accept cruelty as her due, and she thought about the woman she was becoming, still imperfect, still struggling, but fighting for herself in ways that mattered. "I'm terrified," she admitted. "Me too. Every single day." Nathan took her hands. "But I'd rather be terrified and trying than safe and empty. And I'd rather be terrified with you than safe with anyone else. That's possibly the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. I have my moments." They stood together in that gallery, surrounded by art and possibility, and Sophia felt something fundamental shift. Not a magical transformation, not sudden confidence or erased insecurity, but a choice. Her conscious decision to stop letting fear make all her decisions. "I want to submit my novel," she said, "to agents, to publishers. I want to actually try. I'll help however I can. And I'm scared people will reject it because of who I am. Because I don't look like what they expect a writer to look like. Then they're idiots who don't deserve your work." Nathan's voice was fierce. "The right people will see your talent. The right people will value your voice, and the ones who don't, they never mattered anyway." Sophia leaned into him, letting herself be held, letting herself believe, even tentatively, that maybe he was right, maybe she was worthy, maybe her body didn't define her value, maybe her voice deserved to be heard, maybe she'd been enough all along. Later, sitting in Nathan's car before he drove her home, Sophia said quietly, "I need to tell you something. Okay, I'm not fixed. I'm not suddenly confident and secure and healed from years of being told I'm wrong. I still have days where I look in the mirror and hate what I see, where I believe every cruel thing people have said. I know. And I might always struggle with this. I might always fight against that voice that says I'm not enough." Nathan turned to face her fully. "I don't need you to be fixed. I don't need you to be perfectly confident. I just need you to be you, the real you, with all your struggles and doubts and moments of incredible bravery. That's who I fell in love with. That's who Lily adores. That's who deserves to be celebrated exactly as she is. How did you get so wise? Excellent parenting from a woman who faced the same struggles you do. and who taught me that the world's judgment means nothing compared to knowing your own worth. Sophia kissed him then, deep and grateful and full of tentative hope. When they pulled apart, she rested her forehead against his. "Thank you," she whispered, "for seeing me, for being patient while I learned to see myself, for believing in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey, for being part of mine and Lily's, for showing me that love can be real and honest and beautifully imperfect." Driving home later, windows down and cool night air rushing past, Sophia thought about the path that had led here, the humiliating blind date that could have destroyed her, but instead led to connection. The moments of crushing doubt that she'd survived, the small acts of courage that accumulated into something larger. She wasn't the woman from that restaurant anymore, but she also wasn't magically transformed into someone else. She was just herself, learning slowly, stumbling frequently but moving forward. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was actually everything. At home, she opened her laptop and created a new document. At the top, she typed, "Query letter, novel submission." Her hands shook. Doubt whispered its familiar refrain. But beneath it, quieter but growing stronger, was a new voice. One that said she was worthy, that her words mattered, that her existence, exactly as she was, held value. She started typing. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is believe in yourself when the world tells you not to. Sometimes courage looks like finishing a novel, or attending a barbecue, or letting yourself be loved. Sometimes it's choosing to try, even when success isn't guaranteed. And sometimes it's simply deciding that you've always been enough. You just needed to start seeing it. Sophia wrote her query letter. She researched literary agents. She made a list of publishers. She sent her first submission. And then, heart pounding and hands shaking, she called Nathan. "I did it," she said when he answered. "I sent it. I'm so proud of you." She could hear his smile through the phone. "How do you feel?" "Terrified, exhilarated, like I might throw up." "That sounds perfect." "Nathan?" "Yeah? I think I'm starting to believe I'm worthy. Not all the time, not completely, but starting. That's all anyone can ask. To start, to try, to keep choosing yourself." After they hung up, Sophia looked at her reflection in the window. The same body, the same face, the same curves society deemed wrong, but different eyes looking back, eyes that were learning to see beauty, eyes that held hope. The journey wasn't over. She'd still face judgment and doubt and days where the old voice screamed louder than the new one, but she'd also have love and support, and proof that she could do hard things. She'd have Nathan's belief in her, Lily's uncomplicated affection, Maya's friendship, her finished novel, her displayed words. She'd have evidence that she was more than the world's limited definitions. She was Sophia. Writer, dreamer, fighter, worthy of love, deserving of joy. Enough exactly as she was, and that was the truest story of all.